Hi Libra, this is your reading for the week of October 27th, or whenever you hear it and it resonates. This might be Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or just a lot of Libra in your chart. And yeah, it won't be for everybody. So I've asked the guides to keep it fairly short for this reading this week for everybody. What I get for you, Libra, is the first image that I get is you on a skating rink, an indoor skating rink. And it's reminiscent of an experience I had when I was, 12, maybe 10. And that was at a party where I was at a skating rink. And I was not a secure skater. I tended to stick to the boards pretty much. But I saw the entire birthday party getting ready to leave. There was a lot of traffic on the ice, and I cut right across the middle of the rink, not being able to negotiate or navigate. And I banged into somebody who was much taller than me, and the poor guy got a mouthful of my hair and cut my scalp really badly, where the whole thing was bleeding. Now, why is that relevant? What's relevant about that is I was trying to go too quickly because I thought I was going to miss something. And in going too quickly, I went too far beyond my comfort zone. In going too far beyond my comfort zone, I lost the ability to navigate my way out. And what's on top of that is the birthday party wasn't actually going to leave without me. It was just my fear that they were going to leave without me. So what this is telling me, Libra, is that for some of you right now, you are probably in a position where you are feeling some kind of restriction or tightening of something that is making you feel like you need to make a decision or you need to do something differently and quickly. And what the cards are saying to me, and certainly what that message is slow down. You are getting the use your senses card, stay in your body, use your breath. As long as you are staying aware of your senses, where you are in time and space, the colors, the smells, the sounds, that's a thing that grounds you and brings you back into present time. That's the only place within which you're able to take what feels like a burden of responsibility and turn it around into the ability to respond. When you're feeling resistance about something, a structure, a pattern of behavior, even the structure of a belief psychology, when you come up against something in any of those things, tangibly or psychologically, spiritually, there is a sign that there is a part of you that is being restricted. Either something is pressing in on you or you've grown to the point where you need to move beyond it. You can sometimes say things and do things as a way to avoid conflict or avoid upsetting people, because that's really a big concern for you, is trying to make everything nice for everybody and keep everybody happy. What you're being told here is say what you feel. Like, be really honest with yourself as part of defining how you want to respond to something. Really check in with you. And first of all, remind yourself of your good characteristics, because Libra, often you make choices from feeling insufficient, feeling like you're not enough. You feel like, you're on your back foot and you're trying to catch up with something. So what you're being told, my dear Libras, is take an attitude of kindness first and foremost towards yourself, because it's only by being really genuinely kind to yourself that you can be kind to other people. But now let's redefine what kindness might be. Kindness might feel sometimes like it's keeping the truth from people if it's going to upset them. And sometimes it is. And sometimes it is being honest. But being honest with good intention. So the kindness piece, I think, is really important. Kindness is not superficial. Kindness isn't just making sure that somebody gets the right present or that they like the thread count in their sheets. Kindness is when you really connect with that deeper part of yourself which has compassion, which believes in all the things we associate on the spectrum of love versus fear. So truth, honesty, consideration, gratitude, all of these things that will align us with a behavior that is supportive of the people that we're involved with and supportive of us being in connection to our spiritual selves. And I feel like it's really interesting because the two cards that I pulled out just as I was saying that was fierceness. And that is, a quality of intensity and passion, a sense of being powerful in our ability to do things and stand for things we believe in. And this is not about aggression and violence, but rather one of passionate confidence and assertiveness. So that goes with say what you feel, remembering that you have all of these wonderful qualities, that you're not coming from behind as you say that. And you've also got, next to the fierceness, you've got certainty and doubt, okay? If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts, but if he will be content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. That's a quote from Sir Francis Bacon. So for me, what this is really saying to you, Libra, is understand that if I go back to that very first image of the skating rink, I think that's the anchor point for this, which is notice where your structures are not supporting you and feeling secure. Notice where you might be rushing to get to an end of something or to get to an exit or to join up with something that you want in a way where you are not honoring what your limitations are. Now, that's important because sometimes resistance is there as a genuine warning that you're moving too fast, that you need to slow down and look at what the issue is at a deeper level than just ice, than just the surface, okay? So whatever is going on with you, wherever you're feeling that kind of resistance, which might lead to that tendency to want to rush or panic or get something done just to get it resolved, you're being asked, don't be afraid to go in with some doubts. You don't have to be certain in this. Use your senses. Say what you feel, be kind, and remember, you have the ability to respond, right? Responsibility often feels like a burden. A Course in Miracles, however, defines it as the ability to respond. This implies freedom and choice rather than a necessary duty to be performed out of unwanted obligation. How does your perception change when you look at your current responsibilities with this new definition? Now, as I was reading that, I was being drawn, my image, the mental picture they were giving me was of the skating rink perimeter again. And that is a structure, right? So I'm going to read the resistance card because I think it's relevant. I'm going to put it up there in case you want to take a screenshot of it because I find this one a really valuable juxtaposition. Just the right amount of resistance creates the friction or stimulation that provokes momentum for change and growth. Too much resistance can create so much drag that it brings things to a standstill. Resistance is a force of energy and deserves to be acknowledged and dealt with in some way, or it will continue to apply pressure and potentially cause damage to the existing structure. This could be the structure of a job, a relationship, a personality, or anything that has a system of operation with parameters and boundaries. Now, if we look at that card, the resistance card, in relation to the perimeter of a skating rink, a structure can be a support or it can be a restriction. If this is, we're going to look at this as a structure, and we're going to look at the birthday party group leaving as a resistance. You're fighting that, okay? I want to take it back now and I want to say, if you know that you cannot skate and you cannot stop and you're plunging through a line of people in order to get to the exit, you better make sure that that exit is really the one you want and that you really need it that fast. Otherwise, if everything else in your structure is supporting you, and there's just that one question about whether or not you should speed things up and change how you're negotiating your current structure, please pay great attention to that. Pay attention, get into your senses, and really ask yourself questions. What do you feel? Is this point of resistance something that needs to be overcome? Is it something that needs to be broken through? Or is this something that is letting you know you need to take a look at something about the structure that you're in that maybe is not comfortable for you? And if so, what is that? Do you really need to exit the rink? Maybe you don't. Do you really need to leave it that way, that speed, at that? So it's questioning your structures, the parameters you're living in, and realizing you have the ability to respond to them, that you can be fierce in your ability to be in the moment, to be honest with yourself, to be really genuinely honest with yourself about what it is you're feeling. And if you need help with that, get help with that to go a little bit deeper. But also, please, Libra, remember, you have many, many wonderful qualities, and there's a very great chance that some of the things that are causing you to feel like you need to force it is coming from a position of feeling as though you're not enough. And that feels very important for me to say. No, you're plenty. You have room to grow like we all do. But be very careful, please, about not being motivated by a sense of feeling like a failure, having not been enough, any of those attitudes and beliefs and feelings that drop your energy and throw you into a wounded ego, as opposed to having access to your higher self. Because you got it, Libra. You've got the higher access. So stick with that and be very, very conscientious about the words that you use when you're describing yourself or any situation. You might want to take a look at the word fast. Words are very important. They guide and dictate your energy, your thoughts, and your body chemistry because of that. Okay? And just remember that you have got no remorse or guilt, okay? No remorse or guilt. If you need to have remorse over something, have genuine remorse and then allow yourself to move on instead of getting caught up in a guilt spiral, which is like useless waste of energy and really just kind of a self-indulgence that lands you almost as a victim of your own guilt as opposed to somebody who's able to grow and move beyond it, which is what kind of the whole purpose of that is. Now, I'm going to leave you with that, my dears. Do your best to stay in the present, to not take things too personally, and to really look at yourself with kindness, with compassion, staying anchored and grounded in present time, and make your decisions from that place. Okay? Take care, Libras.